Hello everybody and welcome to episode 71 of the Ask the Coach show, where we answer your table tennis questions. Today we're talking about how to read the spin on serves, using your wrist for backhand strokes, preparing for your first tournament, how to be a better defender, and we have an interesting discussion on eye dominance. As always, Supercoach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Good morning, Jeff, and I did make it up on time today. How about that?
That is an excellent effort. Well done. You feeling sharp?
Absolutely, sharp as.
Great to hear. Well, let's get into some of the questions. And the PingSkills question of the day yesterday was about the chairman of the USA Table Tennis. Well, not about him, but how important is the role of a chairman and what qualities should a chairman have? Do you have some thoughts on these?
Yeah, it's interesting. One thing that I think is up for discussion is how much sport-specific or table tennis background does a chairman need? And I think as long as they've got a team around them that has table tennis knowledge, that person at the top doesn't necessarily have to have a deep table tennis knowledge. I think their role is a lot more about it's almost like it's a business manager. It's being able to control the business of the association that they're in charge of, and certainly you need good table tennis knowledge within the organisation, but I don't think it's one of the things that is really critical for the person at the top. And I think one thing that is really important is being able to deal with people on a face-to-face basis, because in a table tennis association situation, it's a lot about dealing with volunteers and dealing with people that are giving up their time and just are really passionate about the sport. So I think the chairman still needs to be able to deal with those people well, and to be able to empathise with players and officials from clubs, all those volunteers out there. So yeah, there are a couple of things that I think that are really important.
Okay, excellent points there, Alois, and it's interesting to hear your thoughts, because you have worked in Table Tennis Association quite a long time ago now, though.
Yes.
But yes, interesting to hear those thoughts. So that moves us on to the PingSkills question of today, which is, do you prefer language or mathematics? I'd just love to get your thoughts on that. Leave a comment and we'll see what the balance is between people liking language or mathematics better for learning. All right.
I've got a little theory about that, so let's see.
Okay, yeah, so make sure you jump on and leave a comment. You can find it on pingskills.com and click on the blog link and you'll find the show where you can leave a comment, or you can leave a comment on YouTube. All right, Alois, now we had an interesting question about eye dominance from Dieter, and would you just tell us a bit about eye dominance and what it is and how you can tell what it is, and does it really affect anything?
Yeah, so it was interesting. Dieter brought up some really good points, and it's not something that I've really paid any attention to over time. So what Dieter said to do was, and you can all do this, just pick out a little object in the horizon. So I'm going to look out there and make a bit of a, let's see where I can see that. Yeah, make a circle with your hands to encircle that object in the distance, and then just bring it closer and bring that circle closer and closer until it's really small and just encircling that object. Then close one of your eyes and see which eye that circle actually keeps that object in that circle, whether it's your left eye or your right eye. So it might be that by closing your right eye, you see the object, or closing your left eye, you see the object. So yeah, interesting. So what I found is that I'm a left-hander in general. For one-handed sports, I'm definitely a left-hander. but I am right eye dominant. And there's been quite a few studies on eye dominance and things. A lot of them show that there isn't a lot of effect, by being left-handed right eye dominant or left-handed left eye dominant. But there's some interesting things related to it. Yeah, Jeff, have you heard much about eye dominance?
Just a little bit. I heard once when reading about basketball that when you're first shooting for basketball, you should do that little test and figure out whether you're right eye and left eye dominant. And then when you go to shoot the basketball, you should hold it not right in front of you, but just slightly over the eye that's more dominant, and that will help you be more accurate. That's what I've heard with basketball, but I don't know if there's any scientific thinking behind it or analysis behind it.
It does make sense though, doesn't it? Because if that's the eye that you're focusing with, that would make sense to get your hand in front of that eye.
Yes, and then I guess maybe like if you're throwing darts or something, if that was the case, maybe that would be better. But you kind of read a study where it didn't seem that eye dominance didn't make much difference. But with that study talking about just people in general, and maybe people do that by default, so it didn't make any difference, and the people that weren't doing that should do that. It's interesting.
Yeah, it didn't talk about it talked about their learning ability. So it didn't really talk about where they're putting the data or anything like that. So it showed that if you were left hand dominant and right eye dominant, it didn't make any difference to your ability to learn. But as you say, it's probably people are just adjusting naturally to that. So interestingly, I throw darts. I need to think about this. I think I throw darts with my right hand. And I would put it in front of my right eye to do that. Being a left-handed person and trying to get in front of my right eye would be a little bit more difficult, to get it across there rather than there, which is a natural position. So
but then table tennis, I can't see how, knowing your eye dominance, you could really do anything to improve your game. Again, I haven't given this a lot of thought, but
yeah, the only other little theory that I have is that because I'm right eye dominant, perhaps I favour my left hand side, so where my right eye is closer to the ball. Someone else made a comment. I can't remember. Sorry, who made a comment on the question from Dieter. That they are left eye dominant. I think left-handed and left eye dominant, and they tend to favour their backhand. So yeah, interesting. Would love to hear your thoughts. Are you left-hand dominant or right-hand dominant? Are you left eye dominant or right eye dominant? And do you favour when you're on this side or when you're on this side? So yeah, put your thoughts down there and let's see if we can make something of it.
Indeed, yes. We'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, Alois. Now, Brock, hi, Brock. Brock's watching again, and he's asked a question, Alois. He says, hey, PingSkills. I've been practicing with a coach for 2 weeks now, and I've been better on my strokes, but when I use it on the tall guy, he just blocks the ball, and I'm shocked. Have you any other tips that is maybe going to help me advance and get better than this guy?
This tall guy, he's obviously your nemesis, isn't he, Brock? The things that we've talked about previously to you about playing the ball into the middle and the variation, they're the things that you need to think about and keep working on. Maybe at this stage your strokes just aren't strong enough to overcome him. But then also think about the other aspects of the game. Think about your serving. Where is it best to serve to? What type of serves is it best to do? What type of returns is it best to do? So do a little bit of analysis on the player in general. Use the vault on PingSkills.com. Go there. Put in the tall guy, put in the attributes that you see and see if you can start to work a few more things out about this guy.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes players are just better than you, and you just have to, work for a long period of time to improve your game. And like you said, the tactics are also important because if he's always just blocking your strokes, then maybe you need to place the ball better, or maybe he's got a weaker forehand block than a backhand block, so you should go there more. So there's a lot of things to think about. But during it all, you've always just got to keep working away, keep improving your level bit by bit, and there's rarely ever, one simple thing that can take you from a level down here and jump you right up to another level. It's really like a gradual process of just increasing your skill level over time. I know that
Yeah,
doesn't sound great, but yeah,
yeah.
sorry, Alex.
One day, Brock, you're going to be contacting us and say, "I beat the tall guy."
Yes, we look forward to that day. So just keep working at it and keep persevering, Brock, and let us know when you finally do beat the tall guy. All right, next question is from Lucas. He says, next week on Monday, I'm playing my first ever table tennis tournament. Do you have any tips on what I should do, or any tips on how I can read my opponent's serves and or moves? And what techniques do you think I should use?
Yeah, so tournaments are great. It's a really good idea to get into, playing some tournaments because you just see a whole new range of players, a wider range of players. Um, Look at the tournament as just a test of your ability, not how you can beat this guy or beat that guy. Just go in there, learn as much as you possibly can, and watch as much as you possibly can of all the other players. When you're on the table, just see where you're at. Don't try and do anything different. Don't try and invent some new strokes for the tournament, or go and change your bat and get a faster bat or whatever for the tournament. Just go out there, play table tennis like you play table tennis, and just see where you're at. Okay, it's a really good way to just get some new ideas during the tournament, but just test your skills, and you'll start to find out things that other players are picking on with you. So they might pick on your backhand. They might find something that they can utilize to beat you, and that's something that you can then just go away and practice before the next time you play a tournament. So yeah, just use it as a great learning experience.
All right, Lucas, good luck with your tournament. Let us know how you get on. We'd love to hear how you went and what you thought of the tournament. All right, Yang has asked us a question. He says, I am a defensive player, but I want to make some more backspin. Also, I want to know about what I need to do to be a better defensive player.
Yeah, so defending basically usually means you're back from the table and chopping the ball, or when you're at the table you're blocking or pushing the ball. So to generate more spin, it's about tilting the bat back more and brushing underneath the ball. So if you see the ball as a circle. Okay, so there's your circle. If I'm hitting the ball that way, I want to brush the ball right at the bottom here to generate the best, most amount of backspin. So there is where I want to be hitting the ball. Okay, and there you can see that the ball starts to rotate around really well. The other thing is to, as you get a little bit more advanced, to hit that ball closer to the bottom edge there, because that gives you a little bit more time with the ball on the rubber. And that will also help you to generate the spin. So tilt your bat back, brush right underneath the ball, and then you can start to brush a little bit faster to generate more spin on the ball. To become a better defender, that's one thing to be able to do, but you also need to just retrieve a lot of balls. So to be able to get a lot of balls back on the table. I found multi-ball is a really good way of practicing that because sometimes you can't get a player to be able to attack to you consistently enough. So get a person to grab a whole bucket of balls and just stand close to the net and hit them out, one this way, one that way, and just start practicing being able to retrieve that ball on both sides. On the website, we've got some lessons about the techniques of the actual chopping strokes, so forehand and backhand strokes. So go there, check out the techniques, just make sure your technique looks right and feels right, and then move on from there.
Yeah, it's interesting, Alice. So some of those points you raised about getting more backspin and getting the angle of the bat, would that change depending on the stroke your opponent's played? So if they're playing a heavy topspin, does that affect the angle of your bat?
Yeah, it can. So if they're playing a heavy topspin, you might need to come down on the ball a little bit more. You can, I mean, if you're really good, even when they play a heavy topspin, you can still brush heavily underneath the ball and get the ball with a lot of spin back. But yeah, I mean, they're just some more advanced things that you can start to think about. But certainly, just retrieving the ball first and then trying to generate a bit more spin is
yeah. Important. And the other thing I've found when playing against good choppers and defenders is that when they're able to vary the amount of spin on the ball, it becomes difficult.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because once, I mean, just generating more spin isn't always the answer, because no matter how much spin you get on the ball, if you do that all the time, the attacking player is going to be able to adjust and be able to lift that ball effectively. But if you're playing one with heavy spin and one with less spin, that's the thing that's going to cause your opponent the most problems, and they'll start to lift the ball off into the table or into the net as well. So yeah, great point, Jeff.
Excellent. All right, thanks for the question, Yang. All right, next question is from Grenville, who says, I sometimes use the backhand with just a wrist action when the ball is half long, and also from deep off the table as well. Sometimes I find the wrist shot is effective, and sometimes it's difficult to control. Is this technique fine?
Yeah. So especially when the ball a full, just with the result, use the wrist. I didn't see. Just with the wrist can be.
Hold on, Alice. We're having just a few difficulties here. I can't pick you up. I'm not sure why, but maybe something's going on.
Yep.
Are you there?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Yeah. So maybe try that again. So yeah, is that technique with the wrist fine?
So as you don't have time to play the ball because the ball's really coming fast onto you, you haven't got just the wrist can be really effective to be able to generate enough speed with the racket head to lift that ball over the net. More using your wrist and you haven't got the control of the forearm, but it can be a really effective stroke. You know, sometimes it was interesting. I had a bad backhand in a match situation, but I used to find that this stroke worked quite effectively, mainly because I didn't have enough time to think about it, and it became a natural. And that's why you're saying that, you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But yes, it is a legitimate stroke, and a stroke that you can develop as well.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so yeah, you were cutting out a bit, but I think the general advice is that yeah, using your wrist is a legitimate technique. So thanks for the question, Grenville. Hopefully that clears up some of your thoughts. So when someone's practicing that shot, Alois, do you want them to be consistent with the way they're practicing that shot?
Yes, so you certainly can. So probably a good way to practice it again with multi-ball is to get someone to push the ball short to you. So you come in and play a short ball, and then quickly they push that another ball deep to you. So you're here, then you're caught quite close to the table. You need to make the top spin. So come in, make the push, next ball quickly here, to make the wristy topspin.
Okay, excellent. All right, give that a try, Grenville, and let us know how it goes. All right, next question is from Michael, who says, I play a player who has a backhand serve, and he serves it from his backhand corner, and he plays it fast and deep into my backhand corner. The difficulty is that he buries and disguises the spin, but I cannot read which spin is on the ball. How can I learn to read the spin on the ball better?
Yeah, so Michael was also saying, just in the extended question in the Ask the Coach, he was saying, he very rarely gets them back, or very rarely. A couple of things to think about. One is you could take a step back. So if he's always doing this serve and it's always deep and fast to you, just take half a step back from the table. You'll have a little bit more time to react and to play your stroke. Secondly, the type of stroke that you play, it can be a top spin stroke. If you're really struggling, just go back there and push the ball onto the table. So at least then you're giving the other guy one more stroke that they have to play. If you're always missing the return, then they start to get pretty comfortable and they get more confident with their serve, and they really start ripping their serve. So there's a couple of ideas. Take half a step back away from the table. Try and do your top spin stroke. If not, just push the ball back on the touch.
Yeah, not sure what's happening, but from my end, you're just cutting out a bit again, Alois. So just missing out on some of those crucial points there. But I think you're trying to say, yeah, take a step back, give yourself some more time, especially because he's always doing the serve long to your backhand. If you're not getting any on, maybe it's a good idea to just try and attack some to try and scare the guy, and you might make some on. So just try and hit some hard if you're losing all the points anyway. And so what?
Yeah, and the other point was to just get the ball back on the table. So go the other way and just get the ball back on the table to just make sure that they play one more ball.
Yeah, good point. Now, looking long term, how do you get better at reading the spin on this serve?
Yeah, so really crucial to watch the ball all the way through. I often find that when players say that they haven't got time, or they're always getting caught out, it's because they're not actually focusing on the ball. So as soon as the server has the ball in their hand, you need to focus on that ball. Watch the ball. Watch the ball as they hit it. If you're tuned into the ball from there, you're going to buy yourself a little bit more time to react and to hit the ball. If you're not really focused on that and you're focused on other things, trying to focus on their head or their bat or their elbow or whatever it is,
Yeah, just cutting out again. I don't know if it's my computer doing something, but just losing track of you there. So, yeah, the returning serve really is difficult, isn't it? Like, it's just small variations can make the difference between a backspin and a topspin, and I guess that comes with experience, and maybe it's helpful if you can get a partner that can serve to you quite a bit, so you can practice against the different types of spins that they generate.
Yeah, that's right. So just getting experience against all the different types.
Excellent. Well, so Michael, don't get discouraged. It's returning serves is difficult. So yeah, see if you can, maybe even you can get this player to practice serving to you, or if it's not this opponent, maybe someone else who's got a good serve, and just get them to serve to you quite a bit, and see if you can start to pick up the different serves. But yeah, really watch the ball the whole way through, watch their contact, and learn what happens with the different types of serves. That will help you out a lot. So that, Alois, wraps up the show for today. Big thank you to everybody for watching and to all those who asked the questions. Make sure you visit pingskills.com and sign up for our free newsletter. We give out lots of tips, so that will help your table tennis. And we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you, Alois.
Yep. Thanks, Jeff, and thanks, PingSkillers, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We will indeed. See you, everyone.